When people talk about the Gandhi family, the conversation usually begins with power, prime ministers, elections, and assassinations. But Sonia Gandhi's story begins far away from India, in a small Italian village. Long before she became one of the most powerful women in Indian politics, she was simply a young girl named Evige Antonia Albina Maino. Born in 1946 in Louisiana, Italy, Sonia grew up in a modest Roman Catholic family. Her father, Stefano Maino, had fought in World War II under Mussolini's army before returning to a quiet civilian life after the war ended. Nothing about Sonia's childhood suggested that one day she would stand at the center of Indian politics. In fact, politics was probably the last thing she imagined for herself. What fascinated Sonia instead were languages. She loved learning how people communicated. Italian, French, Spanish, Russian languages came naturally to her. And years later, that same curiosity would help her adapt to a country completely different from the one she was born in. In the mid 1960s, Sonia moved to Cambridge, England, to study English. Like many foreign students, she lived a simple life. She worked part time at restaurants, managed her expenses carefully, and stayed away from attention. And then one evening, inside a small Greek restaurant in Cambridge, she met Rajiv Gandhi. Rajiv was studying engineering at Trinity College. Quiet, soft spoken, polite. Very different from the image people later associated with the Gandhi family. The two connected almost instantly. What makes the story even more surprising is that Sonia had no idea Rajiv belonged to India's most influential political family. Rajiv himself barely spoke about it. To Sonia, he was just Rajiv, not a future prime minister, not Indira Gandhi's son, just Rajiv. As their relationship grew serious, Rajiv introduced Sonia to his mother, Indira Gandhi, and Sonia was terrified. Years later, Sonia recalled how nervous she felt before meeting her. But Indira Gandhi immediately sensed her discomfort and began speaking to her in French instead of English. It was a small gesture, but Sonia never forgot it. In 1968, Sonia arrived in India to marry Rajiv Gandhi. For a young woman from Europe, India must have felt overwhelming. Different languages, different traditions, different food, different culture. But instead of resisting it, Sonia quietly tried to understand it. Before the wedding, Indira Gandhi asked Sonia to stay with the Bachchan family so she could become familiar with Indian customs and traditions. At that time, Amitabh Bachchan was still a struggling young man, not yet the superstar the country would later worship. The Bachchans and the Gandhis were extremely close. Wedding rituals happened inside the Bachchan household. Sonia later described Teji Bachchan as her third mother. On February 25, 1968, Sonia and Rajiv got married in Delhi. And after marriage, Sonia did something unusual for someone entering India's most powerful family. She stayed away from politics completely. She focused on family, on raising Rahul and Priyanka, on building a private life away from public attention. Even Rajiv Gandhi showed little interest in politics back then. The real political heir seemed to be Sanjay Gandhi, Indira Gandhi's younger son. But in 1980, everything changed. Sanjay Gandhi died in a plane crash. Suddenly, pressure began to build on Rajiv to enter politics. Sonia reportedly hated the idea. She feared politics would consume their family, and slowly it did. Then came 1984. Punjab was in turmoil. Operation Blue Star had deeply shaken the country. And on October 31st, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was assassinated by her own bodyguards. That morning changed India forever. Sonia Gandhi was inside the house when the gunshots were fired. She rushed towards Indira Gandhi and found her lying in blood. As Indira was taken to AIIMS hospital, Sonia held her in her lap during the drive. Meanwhile, Rajiv Gandhi was campaigning in West Bengal. When he returned to Delhi, Congress leaders immediately wanted him to become Prime Minister, but Sonia begged him not to accept it. According to the people close to the family, Sonia told Rajiv, "They killed your mother, they would kill you too." But Rajiv accepted the responsibility anyway, and 7 years later, Sonia's worst fear came true. On May 21st, 1991, Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated in a suicide bombing during an election campaign in Tamil Nadu. For the second time, Sonia Gandhi watched politics take away someone she loved. The Congress party wanted her to become Prime Minister after Rajiv's death, but Sonia refused. Not once, completely. She disappeared from active politics for years. But by the late 1990s, Congress was weakening badly. The party leadership believed only a Gandhi could revive it. Senior leaders repeatedly approached Sonia Gandhi. Eventually, she agreed. And at the moment she entered politics, controversy followed her. Not because of her policies, not because of corruption allegations, but because of where she was born. Opponents constantly attacked her foreign origin. They argued that a woman born in Italy should never lead India. Even inside Congress, some leaders quietly resisted her leadership. In 1999, Sharad Pawar and P.A. Sangama openly challenged her over this issue. But Sonia responded strongly. Both leaders were expelled from the party. Years later, in 2004, Sonia Gandhi stood at the peak of Indian politics. Congress had unexpectedly defeated Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government. The path to becoming Prime Minister was completely open, and almost everyone expected her to take the position. And then, she walked away from it. Instead, she nominated Dr. Manmohan Singh. It became one of the most dramatic political decisions in modern Indian history. To supporters, it looked like sacrifice. To critics, it looked like strategy. But either way, Sonia Gandhi had changed her image forever. She never became Prime Minister, yet for years, many believed she remained the most powerful person inside the UPA government. Under her leadership, laws like RTI and the Right to Education Act were introduced. But controversies followed too. Corruption allegations, political attacks, the National Herald case, Sonia Gandhi remained one of the most polarizing figures in India. Loved by some, deeply criticized by others, but impossible to ignore. And maybe that's what makes Sonia Gandhi such a fascinating political figure. But despite spending decades in public life, India still doesn't fully know her. A woman born in Italy, who became the central figure of India's most influential political party. A person who repeatedly stayed away from power, yet somehow remained close to it all her life.